програми што може да ја вознемират малолетната публика.
Драги мои пријатели и пријателки, добро вечер. Добро дојавте уште едно издание Јаде Бурек на Сител 3 телевизија. Се надевам дека ве наоѓам во добро расположение, дека ги преживеавте поларните студови, до која тешка драма, човече, се спушти температурата до -7 овдека, тешки драми. Ги заборавивте скопските зими од -15 денска температура. Викендот го побина во Берово на -25 степени и се чувствувам поосвежен одошто да останем. Мора да е до смогот и до воздухот, дефинитивно. Поздрав до драгите пријатели од Берово, блазесеви на шумата. Уште само бизнисот да можеме да ви го префрлиме овдека што го имаме во Скопје и ствари подобро не. Ако го преселиме Скопје у Берово, тогаш дефинитивно ќе го загадиме Берово. Не се. Драги мои пријатели и пријателки, се вжештува политичката атмосфера. Прв голем јавен настап на премиерот од како поднесе оставка и многу жесток говор кој ги вознемири опозицијата и соросоидите, кои ги прерипаа сите работи на она што е кажано и се задржа како е кажано. Се задржа на клоците. Инаку во американскиот сленг постои нешто што се вика kick ass. Ништо страшно, ништо драматично. Тоа е нешто што дури најкултурните политичари знаат да го кажат како фраза и како израз. Бидејќи, кога ќе го преведат говорот на Груевски, каде што ќе спомнат дигање на клоци или kick ass, така ќе биде преведено, ќе речат, па шо драмато вие, знаеш. Така што, интелигентен, добар говор и поздрав до македонските амазонки. Драги мои жени, јас се согласувам со некои мои колеги кои констатира на овие избори мажите нека седат дома, не мора да излегуваат ни на гласање. Жените ќе ја решат целава ситуација во Македонија. И така, значи се фатија за формата наместо да се фатат за суштината. А што беше суштината на зборот? Дека ние, македонскиот народ, граѓаните на Македонија ќе одлучуваме за судбината на Македонија. Дека ние, граѓаните на Македонија, народот на Македонија, ќе одлучуваме кој ќе биде во владата, а не со пржински договори и се ојте, моите, дојте. Ние ќе одлучуваме, а не некој од страна да мешетари. Тоа е суштината. Втората суштина која беше кажана, инвестиции, вработување, одење напред на државата, зголемување на плати, изградба на автопатишта, она што го гледате. Па ако не сте мрднале, а ја искористив сега некој во зимскиот распуст, бев и на исток, бев и на запад. Луѓе мои, се гради. Далеку сме од добро, предалеку сме светлосни години од Холандија, Данска, Белгија, но и тоа како сме во некои сегменти подобри од некои наши соседи. Далеку подобри. И драго ми е што е тоа така. И таква политика поддржувам. Затоа што кога некој се грижи за народот, за вработување, да се гради, не можеш да не го поддржиш тоа. Политички, тука можеме да дебатираме што и како, но економски и оно што се гледа на терен, тоа е сосема друга работа. Така што, ја ќе се фаќам за асфалтот, за вработувањата, а останатите нека се фаќаат за кик-есот. Драги мои, вечерва емисијата нема да биде со вас. Вечерва ќе се јавам во Соединетите Американски држави и ќе поразговараме со Джейсон Мико. Джейсон Мико е голем пријател на Македонија, уште од времето на председателот Трајковски. Остана верен и доследен на својот став и ги бранеше, што се вика, како репрезентативец, ги бранеше боите на Македонија. Джейсон Мико се докажа и покажа преку деценија и пол како голем пријател на Македонија. Преку неговите писанија, преку неговите настапи, преку неговите колумни. Он е колумнист во вестикот Нова Македонија. Но она што ви е најактуелно, драги мои пријатели и пријателки, е неговиот документарец, кој заедно со пејачот на групата АХА го направија, а вие имавте можност да го гледате во неколку наврати и за викендов и за репризи, да го гледате на Сител телевизија, A Name is a Name. Овој голем проект на Джейсон Мико навистина остави силен белег во јавноста, бидејќи се работи за исклучителен, промотивен, позитивен документарец во кој се објаснува вистината за Македонија. Убаво би било токму разговорот со Джейсон Мико да го започнеме околу документарецот A Name is a Name, за кој имавте реакции. Ја ви покажав неколку линкови каде што оригиналното DVD можете да го имате. Самиот документарец е freeware, можете да го најдете на YouTube и да го гледате. Но за мене е голема чест и задоволство да го имам на полица тоа DVD со тој документарец на кој на насловната страна е онаа бабичка која во својата простодушност ја кажува суштината. Нема менување на името. Зошто и како? Вие можете само да почувствувате. Како дише и размислува македонскиот народ. Ете така го доживеавме овој документарец, кој, иако може да се купи како оригинал, го имате и како фривер, а благодарение на него имавме и дозвола да ga емитуваме на телевизија, да го види и пошироката јавност. На линија го имаме Джейсон Мико од Соединетите Американски држави. Джейсон, good evening.
Здраво, Јанко, како си?
Добар ден. It's a day in your country. I'm calling you from Tucson, Arizona.
Yes, Tucson. It is about almost 2:15 in the afternoon here.
So, Roxy Music is behind you. Salute. Our first interview, it was about a concert of Brian Ferry in Macedonia.
Absolutely, and you might want to pick up Brian's latest album, Even More. So.
Okay, I promise. After this conversation, I will buy it from the Amazon. Okay?
Very good. Okay.
Do you still you are CD man or you collecting vinyls?
I do CDs. I'm old-fashioned, but vinyls are coming back into vogue now, unless of course you go MP3, thumb drives, etc. I like CDs.
Океј, драги мои пријатели, ќе разговараме на англиски со Джейсон Мико и отприлика ќе ви ги не можам да ви правам симултан превод бидејќи ќе го искршиме целиот разговор. По меѓувреме репризата ќе биде иститлувана, но ќе ви објаснам и суштината. На крајот на краиштата англискиот јазик е веќе international, не е тоа само јазик на англичаните или на американците. Тоа е јазик кој секој кој веќе има мобилен телефон или компјутер мора да го знае и да го употребува. Впрочем, што ви е следната алтернатива? Мандарински?
Јанко, извини, мојот македонски не е добар. So.
Okay, I understand you.
Okay.
You are trying hard to speak Macedonian, and I respect that. Jason, tell me about, let's start with a documentary. What was the idea with the biker?
Sigurian.
Yes, from the band AHA.
Yes. Well, the biker was Sigurian Einarsson.
Sigurian Einarsson.
Yeah.
Those Nordic names are very difficult to me.
Too much, yes.
I like Jason Miko, you know.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good Magyar. So Sigurian came to Macedonia in October of 2007 with Morten Harket from AHA, because Morten had been invited to speak at Lake Ohrid at the World Conference on Dialogue Among Religions and Civilizations, sponsored by the Ministry of Culture and UNESCO. So Morton and I had a small role in bringing Morton to come to speak.
Znači,
So Morton came with
imalo
Sigurjan. They spent the
konferenciju
weekend at Lake Ohrid,
po koja došli za razbiranje
so
genocida.
hanging out with Morton Harket for 2 days at Lake Ohrid was in and of itself an
Znači,
experience.
tije 2 dena v Ohrid.
And we stayed in touch. And in May of 2008, I went up to Oslo for the release party of Morton's solo album, Letter from Egypt. We talked some more. Both men had made a documentary film about East Timor years before. And they said, well, this name issue with Greece that Greece has with Macedonia, why not let's make a documentary film about this issue
Znači,
and put a
2008 godina v Oslu se odlučuvate da go napravite dokumentarec od... So, he was briefly informed about issue between Macedonia and Greece about the name. He understand the problem.
Yeah, and they thought it was an injustice that Greece would be holding Macedonia hostage.
Okay, продолжи. Keep on.
So we in Oslo in May of 2008 we talked some more. Morton had released his new album Letter from Egypt, and we decided that we would make a documentary film about Macedonia and the name issue. And so Sigurjan, he's directed music videos, commercials, documentaries in the past. He would be the director. Morton gave us one of his songs, Letter from A Name is a Name, which is on his album Letter from Egypt. And then we recruited, we had an excellent team of professionals in Macedonia, FX3X production house.
FX3X, okay.
No.
They're Oscar nominated right now. Excellent job.
Bravant, yes, exactly. Sir Andrew Motion from the United Kingdom, who was the poet laureate for the United Kingdom for 10 years, did the voiceover for the English.
Ова е екипата која учествувала во снимањето на документаризот. Keep on going.
And then we had, other musicians. We had Sigur Rós from Iceland, Mum, Earth Affair, all those three from Iceland. David Nash, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young gave us a song.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't understand. I was thought he's still alive. Excellent. Oh, he's a very old musician. I'm really nice surprised about to heard about him.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
excellent.
So he gave us a song, and we filmed it. We put it together with lots of talent from Macedonia and others.
Много е вложено
And
во овој документарец. Keep on going. I will translate.
that was our kind of our a gift to Macedonia to, as Sigurjan says, put a spotlight on the issue.
Да се фокусира на проблемот, да му се даде на значење на проблемот за името.
So now we have released it on. I talked to our co-producer Alexander Bilbilov there in Skopje, and we decided to put it on YouTube and make it free for the world, so that everybody.
Thank you very much for that. In the name of our viewers and Macedonian people, thank you very much. Did you manage to return the money invested in the making?
Yes. So.
Excellent. How was reception in the other festivals? I understand that this documentary was on many film festivals in the world.
We took it around the world. We had it in Australia, throughout Europe, North America, including Canada. Very well received. Very well received. And as we always said, our goal was to encourage Macedonians, educate non-Macedonians, and entertain both groups.
И да ги забавиме и двете групи.
And I think we did that with everybody. I have a couple of, if I may, for instance, when we showed it in Washington, D.C.
Yes?
A member, a foreign diplomat from the Italian embassy came to the screening, And after the film, he said,
Дипломатскиот
"Thank
кород
you.
Италија.
Now I understand."
Дека ви благодарам,
What
сега
this is.
разбирам што е проблемот со Македонија. So it was there is some very good educational point in the documentary for other people to understand what is our problem. Excellent job.
Well, it's not right. Yeah, it's Greece. I like to say it's Greece's problem. It's not Macedonia's problem.
Yes. How did the Greece react? Do you have some reaction from the Greek lobby, from the Greek people, Greek politician? I think Greek people comme ci comme ça about the problem, but the politician is the main problem with this issue.
Great question, Janko. So in Washington again, we were planning on showing it at the Icelandic embassy. So Sigurjón had arranged for the Icelandic ambassador to showcase the film there.
Okay.
We invited members of Congress, members of the media, members of the diplomatic corps. And this was all done, months in advance. 2 weeks before the showing, the Icelandic ambassador sent out an email and canceled it. Now, why? Well, we went and found out that at that time, this is in 2010, Iceland was interested in European Union membership, remember?
Така.
They aren't anymore.
Да.
But what
Тогаш
happened
беа
was
заинтересирани за Европска унија, така е.
the Greeks basically told the Icelanders, if you show this film, we're going to make it more difficult for you to become members of the European Union.
Wow.
So they just washed their hands and canceled it.
Wow. And now?
Well, now it's now look, now
It's time to find some colleague in Iceland and to recommend the movie. It's free of charge to play it on a TV station there.
Yes, I know it's already showed. It has been on TV in Iceland as well as in Norway as well.
Excellent.
So
I didn't.
so
Greek politicians didn't succeed to block your documentary around the world in the other countries.
No. Just here and there. When we showed it in Australia, they complained to the various theaters, but the theaters showed it anyway.
Да, имаше проблеми со киносалите каде што требаше да биде прикажан, но сепак беше прикажан.
Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide.
What is the most memorable reaction of the, the moment, the crescendo in the movie is the old lady when he speaks.
Baba interpreta.
Okay, I'm trying to be polite and English educated. Okay, Baba was fantastic. It was so natural. It was perfect. And I remember that in Macedonia there was a standing ovation and applaud at her speech. How was the reaction in the other countries at that point?
In most places, especially if there was a large Macedonian audience, everybody was clapping and cheering and hollering and and she's absolutely right, Janko. The name cannot be changed. It is Macedonia E.
How do you understand our problem? You're more than a decade and a half in Macedonia, even more, maybe two decades in Macedonia. And I know that is very, very difficult for a outsider, I'm sorry, it's a bad word to describe it, from a stranger from the other country to understand this kind of complex problem. Did you educate yourself? Did you read the history? How did you manage to understand our problem, and how do you decide to stand beside the Macedonia and Macedonian people?
Great question. Every people have a right to call themselves and to feel what they want and to feel and express their own identity. Macedonians have been calling themselves Macedonians for centuries or longer. And we can talk about history, but The point is,
Istoriju.
we are here and
No.
it is now, and Macedonia is, and Macedonians
No,
are.
u ovoj
We
moment
are
nije sme
Macedonians.
Makedonci, Makedonija postoji. Thank you very much.
You
Jason,
can't take
from
away
kind
somebody's
words.
feeling or identity. That's not, number one, it's not right. Number two, you can't do it. I can't tell you that you are not Macedonian. You are Macedonian, you always will be Macedonian. So this idea of Greece trying to dictate to Macedonia what its name is, what its name should be, is bound to fail.
We are a little bit not afraid, but intimidated by this pressure from the Greece and from the international community to change the name, to change something. There is no problem in our minds to accept the change, but we cannot accept to change who we are. You know, if nobody can guarantee if somebody changed the name or agreed to change the name in the upper, northern, Vardar, Macedonia, that the people will be changed to Northern Macedonians, Vardar Macedonians, etc., etc. And that is a big issue, you know,
Yes.
because myself and my people have a consciousness that we are Macedonians. We don't have anything else. We cannot remember anything else. They try to make us Greeks, Turks, Serbians, Bulgarians. Nobody succeed. And now they ask from ourselves to change, to erase ourselves. It is I don't know, it's a paradox. You know, you understand our problem very well, and I ask you, you can choose to change your name, Miko, but you cannot change your surname to your whole family. You can change for yourself, but what about other Mikos? Alexander, Sasha, Anna, whatever.
Right. Absolutely. No, you again, and Greece wants a qualifier before Macedonia. Okay. I have one. It's called Republic.
Yes.
Republika Macedonia. That's
Znači,
the qualifier.
Republic of Macedonia je ono što jaz govoram često. I speak for myself in my show. The Republic of Macedonia, Republika Makedonija je dovoljna distinkcija od pokrajiната Makedonija. It's true. There is a part of Macedonia in Greece, part of Macedonia in Republic of Macedonia. So what's the big deal? What to change? We are not Macedonia. We are Republic of Macedonia. So there is quite a difference. So why
That's
the
wrong,
pressure?
but and I know that the internationals want to try and separate the idea of the name from the identity, but you can't. They are intertwined.
Thank you for
It is
understanding.
Macedonia, you are Macedonians.
Znači ne može da se odvoji imето od identitetot. Ako se smeni imето, ќе се смени идентитетот. Okay, we try hard. We try to explain. You made a documentary about it. What else do you think we have to do for the international community to understand us? Or maybe they understand us, but they are helpless to make a difference, or they are too weak to defend from the Greek aggressive foreign policy.
They are not willing to stand up to the Greeks. The Greeks are very weak.
Okay, so how did they manage to maintain the problem so long?
Well, I think that they look at the number of problems in the world and they say, what's a big problem that we need to solve? What's a small problem we need to solve? And they think this is a small problem. But it's not a small problem for you as Macedonians. But even so, I mean, 138, 139 countries recognize Macedonia. Everybody says Macedonia, Macedonian, except when Johannes Hahn is there saying your country, this country, etc. Bilaterally, it's Macedonia. So that's not an
Значи
issue.
преку
It's-
130 и кусур земји не имаат признато под нашето име. Ние сме македонци, не комуницираат како македонци, македонски. Значи се е на наша страна. Do you think we have to prevail just to stand up
And
our...
here's something very interesting.
Сакам да ти кажам
I
нешто
don't have a
интересно.
copy. Resolution 817 from the United Nations. April
817
817, yeah. 817, 1993.
од 93-та резолуцијата 817 од Обединети нации.
Was the framework that allowed Macedonia entrance into the United Nations.
Да, со тоа што тоа е резолуцијата со која Македонија влезе во Обединетите нации.
And the way they got around it, they said that for
Како ја
all
заобиколија?
purposes within the United Nations, that's a key
Repeat
phrase.
it, please. Repeat it.
Yes. For all purposes within the United Nations,
За наши прилики во Обединетите нации,
Macedonia would have a provisional
ќе има
Reference.
привремено име,
former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia.
Former Yugoslav
Okay.
Republic of
So, but
Macedonia.
it is not a name.
Но тоа не е име,
It is not for use outside of
не се
United
користи
Nations.
за надворешна употреба,
Provisional.
тоа е привремено.
So, yeah. So it should have only been used within the United Nations.
И треба да се
Unfortunately,
користи само во Обединетите нации, но
the
за жал,
Union, NATO, IOC, etc. have
но
adopted.
Европската унија и НАТО го употребуваат. Инаку е како што е поставено. So you try to tell me that a resolution of United Nations is only for the use inside in the framework of the United Nations, not there is no obligation to use it. The others, the other foreign assemblies, NATO, EU,
No.
so
no
they
obligation.
use it. Why? Because
Do
of
it
the-
anyway. Because for some reason they don't want to upset the Greeks, and this one baffles me. I don't understand. But I do like what our friends in Turkey do in NATO. Anytime you read a NATO document and it says former Yugoslav Republic,
Но како
there's a little
спротива
footnote,
турците,
and at the bottom it says Turkey recognizes the Republic of Macedonia by its constitutional name.
да, како членка на НАТО ја признава Македонија под нејзиното уставно име. So do United States also recognize Macedonia by the
Well, yes, and yeah, good point, and I know where you're going. So all of these NATO countries recognize bilaterally the Republic of Macedonia.
така билатерално
So
имаат
what it
признато
should
Македонија.
be is whenever you are reading a NATO document and it says Macedonia, there should be a footnote that says the Hellenic Republic recognizes the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia by a provisional reference, or something like that.
So
That's the way it should be.
so because of the consensus that all the decisions in NATO and EU must be unilateral, so they I'm sorry for my broken English. И се извинувам, почитувани гледачи, мојот англиски не е баш најдобар, јас се обидувам само да се снајдам колку што можам и да ви ја објаснам, но предпоставувам дека Джейсон Мико говори многу едноставно, а до толку е нивото, мислам дека ние македонците доволно знаеме пошироката публика, иако ќе се потрудиме ова да го иститлуваме во наредните денови. You want something to point, Jason?
No, I was just going to say that, for within NATO, I would like to see that change so that because most NATO countries recognize Macedonia by its constitutional name, it should be flipped. So that whenever a NATO document talks about Macedonia, because Greece objects, there should be a footnote that says the Hellenic Republic recognizes something other than.
Значи, повеќето од членките на НАТО имаат признаено Македонија под нејзиното уставно име, но сепак за да влезе Македонија, таа треба да биде со консензус признаена, но една членка, Грција, Hellenic Republic, Greek, Greece, Hellenic, Ellada, what's their names? There are many names. They doesn't agree, не се согласуваат и поради тоа Македонија не може да биде примена. Even we have from the имаме пресудата од Хаг. From Hague Court we have recognition that Macedonia should not be
Blocked.
yes,
Yeah, the ICJ, the International Court of Justice.
Thank you
So,
very much.
Yeah.
I'm sorry again for my broken
No,
English.
don't apologize.
So I apologize also to my viewers. They will make a lot of fun of it, but okay, that's my risk. So, iako imаме и таа пресуда од судот во Хаг, they still cannot act in because of the Greece.
Well, the problem with the International Court of Justice is that it makes a decision, but it has no power. It cannot enforce it.
So how can we use it in our, what else we can do? Only to stand up or to stand and to prevail, or?
Here's Macedonia wins the moral argument. Hands down. End of story, full stop, period. You win the moral argument. But when it comes to the practical issues of wanting to join NATO, wanting to join the European Union, then because of this consensus and all this other stuff, you're blocked. Now,
but the battle is not lost.
No, the battle is won. The battle is won.
Morally, we won, you said.
Yes.
But practically?
You still win. Look, I'll be honest with you. Right now, Macedonia is in a better position outside of the European Union than inside of the European Union. You're in this economically sweet spot where you can attract foreign direct investment, companies that will come to Macedonia that will not go to an EU country because the cost of doing business in the EU country is higher. So you've got this sweet spot before you join the European Union when you can keep attracting foreign direct investment.
Sweet spot, that's a nice word about it. That's a better word than middle of nowhere. Middle of nowhere. Мислам дека Джейсон Мико сака да ми објасни дека позицијата во која Македонија не е во ЕУ и во НАТО, но во исто времено е аспирант, а блокирана, морална е победата наша. Ние можеме да привлекуваме странски инвеститори кои нема да работат под регулативите на Европската Унија, кои се прилично строги, но како земја од која може да се извезува и затоа е во така наречено sweet spot, во една поволна положба е Македонија доведена надвор од Европската Унија затоа што е атрактивна токму за бизнисот. And doing business in Macedonia is a pretty good defense mechanism for Macedonia for any threats.
Yeah, the more foreign companies, the more foreign investment, the more coming in there, the stronger Macedonia is, both economically and security-wise. But let me just go back to the issue of the European Union. You have to ask yourself. So, Iceland has decided not to join the European Union. Norway has never wanted to. The United Kingdom, what are we going to have this year? We're going to have a referendum on Brexit, as they call it. And I think they will leave. I hope they do. Because they recognize they're better off outside of the European Union.
Do you really think that the polls are in favor of leaving the European Union in Britain?
Right now, they're neck and neck.
So it's a close margin.
Very, yeah. And I think the referendum is later this year. Oh, you have the Grand Canyon behind you. So.
Oh yeah, welcome. I have also a fire behind me to warm me up. So this is 4K, the best places in the world for charming. Okay, let me ask you something. Like, compare to the referendum in Scotland, which was, from our perspective, very irregular from what we know. Do you think that maybe there will be a big game from the big countries to decide that what the Britain will do, or the Soros activists to play their game? They are pretty strong in Macedonia and eastern countries. And from my knowledge from economic, Soros break down the pound and bleed the Great Britain and working people from the Great Britain in a big crisis 10 years ago or so with manipulation on a stock market.
Right. He bet against the British pound, so
Yes.
yeah. And he made a lot of money off of that.
Yes. Same thing with the Russian ruble.
Yeah. Look, George Soros is involved in many, many countries, in Macedonia, in the United Kingdom, in Russia, the United States. And he is he has a very obviously leftist worldview. And he is busy pursuing his own leftist agenda. How much so he's going to be involved in this upcoming Brexit referendum, I don't know, but I think he will be involved in his organization as well. But Britain, I think, is having dealt with him in the past over the currency issue. They're wise to his ways, if I can call it that.
Do you think that the government of United States give him great support to do the dirty works for them?
I think he does whatever he wants. I don't think, I don't know how much he's talking to President Obama and other people from the Democrat Party.
But he's a very big supporter of Hillary Clinton.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So yes. And, but, he can do his own thing because he's so wealthy.
Okay. Jason, I will ask you to make a short recess for commercials, and
Yes,
after that
absolutely.
I'm going to ask you some question about political situation in Macedonia today.
Super.
Ok. Почитувани гледачи, ја уште еднаш ви се извинувам затоа што не можам симултан превод да ви правам, затоа што не дека не знам, туку и покрај мојот скршен англиски, подобро мислам дека ќе го разберете Джейсон Мико, кој збори прилично едноставно и мислам дека е лесно разберлив. Не ми замерувајте затоа што ако направевме со симултан превод да слушате говор, едноставно немаше спонтанноста на разговорот да биде вака добра. Се надевам дека ќе биде окей, а ние одиме со првиот блок реклами, а потоа веднаш продолжуваме со емисијата. Драги мои пријатели и пријателки, на линија се уште на Skype го имаме Джейсон Мико од Соединетите Американски држави во живо разговор по повод документарецот кој ви го прикажавме Името е име, а не ими за неим. Но Джейсон Мико е исто така и политички аналитичар кој ги анализира состојбите во Македонија. Тој е колумнист во вестникот Нова Македонија, каде што редовно ги објавува своите колумни. Покажан и докажан пријател на Македонија и македонците и е една од оние кои го разбиваат оној се повеќе дека дали кога луѓе се прашуваат често пати и во мојата публика, имаме ли ние пријатели во Америка? Да, имаме пријатели. Еден од нив е големиот лобист на Македонија, Джейсон Мико. Со него поразговаравме околу документарецот и околу името, каде што ни изрази огромна поддршка дека Македонија и морално и практично победува и само треба да продолжиме на овој пат и дека дури и ситуацијата во која се наоѓаме е во моментот дури и поволна за Македонија. А сега ќе го прашам за неговите размислувања во врска со политичката криза во Македонија. Jason, 1 year ago, there was a Prime Minister of Macedonia, Mr. Gruevski, was in my show and said nothing particular. 1 week after that, there was a release of the footage that leader of the opposition asked him to step down or he will release the bombs or recordings. From that moment until today, we are in a deep crisis to, for only one purpose, to break down the legally elected government in Macedonia. That's the shortest way. In the meantime, we have a lot of ups and downs during this crisis, which culminated in Kumanovo terrorist attack, similar to Paris, but we prevailed and stop it at the, not not to have civilian casualties like in Paris. And after that, we have Pržino agreement in a couple of ways. Mr. Gruevski is no more prime minister in Macedonia. He resigned, and now is a campaign for elections on 24 of April. So please do not hesitate to be white and as possible about the crisis in Macedonia from every point you like.
Okay, thank you. So first, Zoran Zaev and citizen leadership wanted last summer, wanted two things. They wanted early elections and they wanted Gruevski out of power. So here we are on January 25, and we have early elections and Gruevski is no longer prime minister. But Zoran Zaev and Citizen are as miserable as ever. Be careful of what you wish for because you may get it.
Wow, that is a good point. I must translate to our people. Znači, Zoran Zaev бараше предвремени избори и Груевски да даде оставка. Груевски ево оставка, предвремени избори има, но он и неговата партија се по-мизерни од било кога. И го кажува она библиското, пази што посакуваш, оти може да ти се оствари.
Here's the way I see it, Janko. It's very simple. Zoran Zaev and citizen leadership want to achieve power without elections because they know that they cannot win at the elections. The only thing they offer the people of Macedonia is the gospel of envy, bitterness, and anger. You can't win on that. What are you for? Not what are you against. That's what the people want to know. What are you going to do for Macedonia? And then when the one time that Zoran Zaev says, I have something for Macedonia, it's about income redistribution. I'm sorry, that's an old, failed communist socialist way. It's as simple as that.
Okay, but they have high hopes, имаат многу полагаат надеж во американскиот амбасадор James Bailey in the American embassy and European Union. They thought they have full support to win the election and to getting the power. But things are a bit changing now. Do you have the same thought about it? Because until this moment, we have a very strong feeling that United States support only SDSM because of the changing the name, same thing from the European Union.
Good question again. And it's funny, we always see SDSM and the left run to the internationals when they want something, when they think
секогаш трчаат по странците
they
и
think
по
there's a problem.
меѓународната кога сакаат нешто.
But my perspective is that the American Embassy, the European Union, the international community, is now looking at Zoran Zaev and SDSM and saying, you're all over the board. You're on this side, you're on this side, you're on this side. You don't have a set agenda. You keep agreeing to things and then disagreeing to things, and we can't work with you. And so the international community is saying, look, we negotiated Pržino. We are sticking to the deadlines as best we can. Maybe we don't always make them, but that's fine. And we agreed last summer on elections. And so we're going to do this. So Citizen has a responsibility to its constituency to run in the elections and campaign as best they can, offer the Macedonian people whatever it is that they want to offer the Macedonian people. And the Macedonian people will make a decision on April the 24th as to who has the best vision for Macedonia.
Do you have some info? Are the polls right? Are the polls valid? Are the polls also presented to the international factor? Are they aware of the will of the people?
I think so. I think the polls have been consistent. And I look at them, whether they're done locally or by the International Committee. They have consistently shown a 2-to-1 ratio of people who support VMRO versus people who support Citizen. Why is that? You have to ask yourself the question. It's because VMRO has a plan, a vision for Macedonia's future. And it has a record now of the past 9 years that it has run on. Citizen, they have tried and they have failed. Now, maybe Citizen needs new leadership. I mean, the Citizen voters, they're not bad people. And they've got a certain leadership that is failing them. So perhaps what we need is a change of leadership in Citizen.
So what do you think will happen?
Well, we're going to elections. Whether or not our friends in Citizen agree to participate is another question. I know that Han will be there next month, and he will be encouraging them to run. They should run. So we take this one day, 1 week at a time.
Do you think that they will change their mind, and why?
Citizen?
Yes.
Maybe. I don't know why. I mean, because they would have to be getting pressure from the internationals to say, look, here's your opportunity. We gave we all, the 4 parties.
Okay,
agreed.
they give them opportunity. They give them everything they want. They clear the list of electors.
The voters list, yes.
Voters, yes. I'm sorry. They wanted control of some part of the media. Okay, everything what they want, they getting ministers in the government. Gruevski is not the prime minister, and they catching even the smallest thing to say we are not going. Maybe they also thought that they negotiating at this moment for bigger support from international to put them on the power anyway, because they promised them they will resolve the problem with Greece, changing our name and identity, which is the easiest way for the international community to
deal with the issue.
Yeah, to deal with the issue about Macedonia and to close that question. So what do you think about it?
Let me tell you a story. In the 1970s, J. Paul Getty, American businessman, was the first man to make $1 billion. Billion with a B. And a reporter asked him once, he said, Mr. Getty, how much is enough? And Mr. Getty said, just $1 more.
Wow.
He could never be satisfied. And so Citizen asks for things, they get them. And yet they never seem to be satisfied. So we have to finish this. We can't continue to go on in perpetual crisis. And the elections solve that issue by giving the choice to the people. Look, the SEC is working on the voter rolls. They're cleaning them up. Fine. The media law, as you mentioned, it will be dealt with. Fine. Let's have elections. If Citizen has a good plan, they will win. If they don't, they will lose. It's as simple as that.
Do you believe that United States will recognize the results of the elections?
Yes.
They will not support it
Look,
How can I
the monitoring
rephrase
missions
this?
are already organizing. They're recruiting people to come.
Okay.
The Parliamentary Assembly, the Committee of Europe, OSCE, all of these groups are coming. They're planned, and
Do
they're
you
gonna
believe
monitor the
that it will be fair? I mean fair for everybody, not just for SDSM, but for
Right.
every people in Macedonia to be quite fair. Because, you
In-
know, the pools, znači anketite, što pokažуваат rezultatите od anketite, and results of the last election и резултатите od последните избори, the numbers are pretty the same. Se prilično isti. That is the reason why I believe there was no falsification, false elections in the past. Zato verувам дека немало лажни избори, stolen votes, about 150,000, what they say. Do you believe
it's
in
not
that?
possible? Yeah. In
Невозможно.
2014, Bumro got, my numbers are correct, my memory is correct, 485,000 votes, roughly. Citizen got about 283,000 votes. So that's a 200,000 vote difference. That's huge. Yes, the elections have consistently, over the past decade, longer, been judged generally free and fair by the international community, and that is the standard. Macedonia can organize elections. It's been demonstrating that. That's not an issue. The issue is a very small minority in the leadership of one of the parties of Macedonia that thinks they should assume power without elections. That's the problem.
So you're pretty sure that they want to get power without election.
That's what it seems to be.
But if
They
you have
have
something,
the option to
something,
go to elections, but don't
yes,
want it.
I understand. But if you have something, is this a lunatic, or maybe they have some support from the international community? Where is their? What do you think? Is there coming? This is coming from their, I don't know, perverted vision of politics, or they have a real support from somebody?
Probably a mixture of both. I mean, look, if Simone Filippini was still there, she would be out campaigning for Citizen. But fortunately, she's gone. So yeah, I think you have a mixture of both.
But it was pretty vulgar to ambassadors in Macedonia to stand up for only one party. We have one Hojte, who is a mediator about some issues about media, who is openly taking side. This is not okay. Even this is not good even for the international community, but they're still doing it.
Yeah, it's not professional either, and it's not right, and they shouldn't. They generally, I think the internationals are pretty good about maintaining their distance and whatnot. But and this is my opinion, just looking at the American State Department, for instance.
So can you
to
talk
produce
about
people from
American State Department, how it stands now?
Well, the Foreign Service in America tends to turn out Foreign Service officers who are from the political left. That's just a fact. And so when they go into a country, they want to professionally be neutral, but they're human. They have their own biases. That's just something you can't control in human nature.
Znači pretežnуваат кон лево, претежно. But that is the question of, that is the issue of this administration. In the past, when Bush was on the power, it was not like this.
I remember I've known a lot of American ambassadors there, and I've seen them come and I've seen them go.
Yes, me too.
And with some it can be more pronounced one way or the other. It just depends. And of course now we have an election year here, so but that shouldn't change at the Foreign Service level the career officers. It'll change the political appointees at the top, and that theoretically they dictate policy from the top in theory. But I'm getting ahead of myself. That's later on. That's a year from now.
Do you have any contacts from American embassy in Macedonia, from some political advisors from United States. Do you have any communication? Did they contact you? Do you talk about issues, political issues in Macedonia? Can you give us some thoughts?
No, actually, we maintain our distances. I know some of the people in the embassy, obviously, but they do their thing and I do my thing.
What is your thing?
It's supporting the truth. It is supporting those who believe in a conservative ideology.
Yes.
Because
Do they have problem with you? You support Macedonian issue. You are about conservative political views about family, religion, and standpoints with the basic of the civilization. Do you have any problems about it with your people in the embassy, generally?
No, none whatsoever.
So, this is good. I'm questioning because if you don't have any pressure, maybe if they tend left, as you say, but they will let us choose freely and they will respect our choice. That is the main concern. The left side, the Sadasama, thinks and believe and want, with support of Soros and United States embassy, to get to power without the support of the Macedonian people, of the voters. But I think because of the principle, United States cannot ignore the will of the people.
Right.
Are you
Right.
sure about this?
Yeah, and I believe actually, it's an interesting thought. It'd be very interesting, and I haven't seen any polling, but how many, if you could actually talk to your average citizen voter, I'll bet they would want to go to the polls. That would be
Sorry?
interesting. They would want to go to elections. The average citizen voter.
Ме прашуваш дали просечниот гласач сака воопшто да излезе на избори. You ask me, are they willing to participate in
election.
voting? What is your thought? Is there?
I don't know. I'm curious. I actually don't know.
I think that this election will be most massive in the history of Macedonia since the referendum of independence, because we, the people of Macedonia, understand that we are not voting now for SDSM, for VMRO, for Gruevski, or for Zaev. We are going to vote for Macedonia to prevail. That's how my viewers, my people, myself, my family understand these elections.
Yes. Yeah. Who can best take Macedonia forward? Who can produce peace, prosperity, stability? Who can conserve the traditions of Macedonia's centuries, millennia of existence? Who is best positioned to do that? Who will do that? And you make that decision based on what they say and what they've done, those two things. And then you have a free and fair vote, and the people decide.
Do you have? Yes, please go on.
Oh, go ahead. No, I just think that the Macedonian people, as a deeply conservative, and I'm not saying necessarily politically conservative, but just traditional conservative people, will make the right choice as to how Macedonia goes forward.
Do you have any advice what Macedonia in general, politicians, people, we should do to make it better, to survive, to make, not just survive, but to make
succeed.
our life, to succeed, yes, to be a better country, to let's say, on the level of Hungary, I'd say, to get on economically and politically. What is your advice, best advice for our politicians and people?
Great question, and the answer will apply to not just Macedonian politicians, but to any politicians in any country, including mine. And that is to be humble, to work hard, to listen to the people. You don't have to agree, but listen to the people at least, and to make yourself available, and then to do to follow that example. But humility is severely lacking in our world today, especially amongst whether it's politicians or business leaders or the media or the
Понизноста
academic.
и скромноста. Do you think that humility is still virtue in this civilization?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, we are called to be humble people. Now, that doesn't mean that you say, oh, I'm not worthy, I'm low, I'm worse than a worm. No, that means to not think of others, to not think of yourself as better than others.
Значи,
Because
понизноста
we are
е
all
да не
created.
мислиш дека си подобар од другите, а не да кажеш дека ти си лош. And maybe to inspire yourself to getting better. Because
Yeah.
as I understand my religion, Christian religion, as they taught me, one small step ahead each day. One small, еден мал подвиг секој ден to getting forward. So
Yes.
we understand pretty good. So I hope that my viewers will understand you. We're going for the second part for the commercials, but after that, are you willing to talk about little international politics, United States elections and something like that? It will
You
be
bet.
pretty interesting to hear from you.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much. Почитувани гледачи, значи во овој дел од разговорот разговаравме со Джейсон Мико за политичката ситуација во Македонија. Јас уште еднаш ви се извинувам заради мојот лош англиски или broken English, како што им се извинувам. Не сум перфектен во тоа, но доволно да се разбереме, се надевам, далеку од перфектно, но мојата наставничка по англиски шизи сега. Не се. Сакам да кажам дека Джейсон Мико ни кажа дека и покрај тоа што преферираат и се повеќе лево ориентирани американските политичари и амбасадори со нивната политика во земјите каде што е, сепак ќе останат принципиелни и ќе ги признаат изборните резултати во април. А како што знаете, и американскиот амбасадор Джейс Бейли рече дека на 24 април избори мора да има и ќе има. Прашање е сега уште зашто ќе се испопазарат СДСМ, единствено што им останува, предпоставувам ова се мои зборови, не негови, дека е за што е можно повеќе гласови или сапорт или поддршка или логистика од странците за да им се помогне. Но дека ќе ги освојат овие избори многу тешко според сите оние анкети. А после блокот реклами со Мико ќе разговараме со Джейсон Мико ќе разговараме за надворешната американска политика денес, како и за изборите кои следат во Соединетите Американски држави. Одиме со реклами. Okay, we just talking with Jason Miko. I didn't know that Miko is Orthodox Macedonia. That's his other religion. I didn't know. In the middle of our talk, we came back on a program. We privately talk about it. So, so you're Orthodox Christian. Congratulations.
Yasum. Thank you.
Браво, браво. And other thing, морам да се извинам, драги мои пријатели и пријателки, на Джейсон Мико, на МПМ, на Дарко Јаневски, на редакцијата на Дневник. Сепак Джейсон Мико пишува за Дневник, пишуваше за Нова Македонија и ми остана клику глава. Јас се извинувам, знаете дека повеќе импровизирам. Ја не запишувам, еве, ова е се што запишав за разговорот со Джейсон Мико. This is all I write for our talk. Whatever. I cannot read it even.
Can't read your writing, okay.
So, Jason, I feel very nice about it. You're Christian Orthodox, and you're pretty Macedonian yourself. So that's the point, that Macedonian is a brand for everybody, black, white, for every continent, everybody who wants to be a Macedonian. Can you rightfully say, I'm Macedonian, it's my choice to be a Macedonian and nobody can deny that? Is it okay to give that statement?
To me?
For everybody.
For everybody, absolutely. So, yes.
That is a civilization
Absolutely.
privilege,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So, I feel Macedonian many days, many times.
You're pretty long absent from Macedonia. Are you coming?
Yeah, I only get over there, once or twice per year to visit friends. But, maybe that will change in future. We'll see.
Okay,
So
I hope
would love
so.
to come. Janko, I would love to come back and be involved in the tourism and the hospitality industry.
Really?
Because Macedonia has so much to offer, and people don't know about it. Whether it's wine tourism, the monasteries, and the religious tourism, outdoor activities, biking, kayaking, hiking, all of these things. Macedonia has an incredible amount to offer to the world. And we're just starting to see, the tourism numbers keep going up each year, which is great. But what I want to see is more high dollar tourists come in from the United States, from Europe, etc., and spend lots of money, enjoying the wine and enjoying the monasteries and enjoying the outdoors. And it's happening, and it will continue to happen. But that's what I would like to do professionally in my next phase.
Is there any chance to work with some great international company of tourism? Because a lot of American, I think that United States is the biggest investor in Macedonia, or maybe Germany. In terms of Germany is, and the United States is second in terms of factories and investments for doing business, automotive business. So,
Yeah.
do you
Yeah,
think
there's-
there is a pretty chance, there is any possibility about any investors?
On the tourism side,
Yes, we started Hilton Hotel, but Paris never came.
has
I
the
mean,
Marriott
Paris
opened
Hilton.
yet? Yeah, has the Marriott opened on the Vostok?
No, it's not open, but it's almost finished and it's look fabulous.
Good. Yeah, that's good. Well, but it's not just the Marriott and the Radisson and the Holiday Inn, etc. But it's these beautiful little places around, like Aurora in Berovo. Is this fantastic?
Yesterday I came from Aurora Berovo, minus
Ah.
25, but most beautiful place and tourist attraction for me. One of the
Yes.
best spa centers in Macedonia. You've
Yeah,
been
and-
there.
Oh yes, and the owner, my friend Slave, he says
Hello to
it's
Slave.
absolutely, it's the best air for your lungs because of the mountains and the pine trees and everything else. So, you've got little gems like that all over Macedonia. Not just in every part of Macedonia. So, places like that. But again, and I enjoy wine. I think, and as a wine drinker, wine drinkers here are always looking for something new, and they haven't been introduced to the Macedonian wines. So the Tikvesh and Bovin and Papabakula and Popov and Tristo and all of these fantastic. And I'm going to leave somebody out, unfortunately. That's terrible. But these are just fantastic wines that Macedonia is producing. Plus the food. I mean, oh my goodness. So, and Americans, Janko, are looking for what we call experiential travel. So they don't just want to come and drink a glass of wine.
Okay.
They want to come and tour the winery and tour the vineyards and enjoy all the wines and all the foods. They want to see how the wine is made. They don't want to just come there and see Lake Ohrid. They want to go fishing.
Do they want to pick up the grapes? Do they
Maybe.
want to?
Maybe. So
We can use a
Yeah.
free force touristic. They pay us to
And
make
they
a
work
wine,
the vineyards.
and beautiful American girls in short skirts and clean legs to step on the grapes. That's the tradition in Macedonia. It will be very, very good. I would like to organize the young American girls to came here and to make a wine, stepping on it, and yes, everything will be okay in the universe. I got inspired.
there you go. Good.
There you go. Sorry, stepping forward. So
good.
over the line, sorry. But virgins only.
Yes. Well, it's going to be the older crowd that has the party. So they're the ones that have the money.
And it
So-
will be difficult to choose.
But
Okay.
But they will come. They will come and enjoy the wine. So
Okay, okay. So, let the issue of the American foreign policy. Do you think that changing between Democrats and Republicans drastically change the American policy, foreign policy, in terms of Macedonia and in terms of internationally?
in terms of Macedonia, not as much. And that's because, let's be honest, Macedonia is a small country in southeastern Europe, and it doesn't get as much attention for a variety of reasons from not just Washington, but other capitals as well. So, if there's a change between Republican and Democrat administrations, there's going to be a much greater change in foreign policy the world over. And as we saw in 2008, when we went from George W. Bush to Barack Obama, we saw a huge change in foreign policy. And that will happen a year from now if there's a Republican in office. But we have an election to get through. Our election is much longer than your election.
Yes, yes. Do you think that there will be some interesting results in elections in United States? You know, Donald Trump was something like Joker in this race, but as the time go pass and things are changing, he getting more serious and support getting stronger for him. So what is your thoughts about Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, and intervention of Obama? It is very rare to actual president of United States to give support to his successor and to his party. It's because all the presidents, as I understand, they were pretty reserved to dignifiedly leave the power and to leave it to the successor. But there is some changes in the campaign right now. How the
Right.
things are now?
Just to take a step back for your viewers who may not understand the process here of electing a president.
I don't understand it also. You
That's
can
okay.
explain to
Most
me
Americans
also.
don't either. So, but we have a series of contests in each state between next Monday, a week from now, going through, I think,
Serija izbori,
July.
not prevari, contest,
Yeah, elections.
elections
So, well,
in each state.
Sort of, and I don't want to get too complicated.
Okay,
because,
okay,
for instance,
don't.
Yeah, a week from today in Iowa is the first contest.
Okay.
Okay, both on the Republican side and the Democrat side.
Znači,
And then a
sami
week-
i dvete partije
week
imate
later-
izbori vo sekoj ova. Okay?
A week later then is New Hampshire, and then comes Nevada and South Carolina, and they just keep going. And then once we get into March, you have big groups of states, like what we call it, the first Tuesday in March is Super Tuesday, when California and 7, 8 other states all have this contest, this vote, again, between the Democrats and the Republicans. And there's a lot of Republicans running and 3 Democrats running. So Hillary Clinton, former Secretary of State, Bernie Sanders, the senator from Vermont, socialist, and Martin O'Malley, the former governor of Maryland. So, but let's look at the Republican side, Trump. My problem with Donald Trump is that he is not a conservative. He says he's a Republican, but he's not a conservative. He's voted for Democrats. He's given lots of money to Democrats. He has been on the issues. He's been all over the board, back and forth, back and forth. He's not a true conservative. That's my problem. All of the others I would be fine with, whether Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio or John Kasich or Chris Christie or, did I say Ted Cruz? All these guys. And Carly Fiorina and Dr. Ben Carson. I mean,
that is a very serious person and serious politicians. That is names with a great integrity.
Absolutely. Ben Carson is just a good, decent man. But anyway, we'll see what happens beginning next week from today, next Monday, in both the Republican and the Democrat contest. So, but on the Democrat side, you have Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders are neck and neck. And everybody thought that Hillary Clinton would just walk away and become the Democrat flag bearer, standard bearer. And,
what does that mean?
She would be the nominee.
Aha, дека она ќе биде номинирана, на крај она ќе се издвои од сите и она ќе биде председателскиот кандидат. Okay?
Yeah. So, but now you mentioned Barack Obama supporting her. His statement today, was it today or yesterday?
Yes.
He didn't actually come out and support her. He said good things about her. So he's trying to support her without saying I support you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I understand.
So
Do you think that America is ready for the woman president?
Oh, sure, of course.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem. If she's qualified, no problem. Hillary isn't qualified. Plus, she's a criminal.
Why she's a criminal?
On this email scandal, when she was Secretary of State, she used a private...
Oh, there was a bombs in the United States also. Excellent.
Absolutely. And she had top secret information on her email server, which is illegal. So the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, is investigating her right now, and we will see what they come up with.
So,
but then, sorry, you got the Republicans and Democrats, and now Michael Bloomberg, the former mayor of New York City, independent, is thinking about running as a third-party candidate.
Meaning reading results of the polls. How is his support?
I don't know. He's a billionaire, so he has lots of resources. So he's looking if he can take a few votes from the right and a few votes from the left and kind of forge this center coalition is what he's thinking. But the last time America had a third-party candidate was 1992. Ross Perot from Texas.
Ross Perot from Texas. Yes, thank you very much.
And he got 18 or 19% of the national vote. So a lot of people think that George H.W. Bush, George Bush's father, did not win, and Bill Clinton was elected in 92 because Ross Perot ran. And there's a lot of people think that if Ross Perot did not run, George H.W. Bush would have been elected. So if Michael Bloomberg runs, it will change the dynamics of the race.
Interesting thing is about Donald Trump is pretty radical statements about how to resolve immigrant crisis, what's going on in Europe, which is pretty interesting, and you cannot deny what he said. Also about Muslim radicals in United States and how to prevent them, and also illegal immigrants, which is a big issue in the States.
Very big, very big. And it's interesting when you watch and read and analyze the news here. Because even, for instance, the Financial Times, a very respected international newspaper, and it criticized Donald Trump for wanting to build a wall to keep immigrants out. That was what they said, to keep immigrants out. No, it's to keep illegal immigrants out. There's a huge difference between legal
yes.
and illegal immigration. I mean, the most famous legal immigrant.
And the people understand that. That is the reason why he had such a big support.
Yes, yeah. So, look, sometimes you need walls. Sometimes you need fences. We have a saying out here in the western United States that good fences make good neighbors. And everybody has a fence around their yard. And there's a reason for that. So, if Europe doesn't deal with this crisis, it's going to crack in two.
Do you believe so? What will happen to Europe? What do you think with this crisis?
Well, let me.
I didn't give you opportunity to make a final statement about the elections of United States and put you in Europe. So we can finish about the United States election and then go to Europe crisis.
Well, United States elections, it's a very long contest. It's going to last the next 11 months, 10 months. So we'll see. It's too hard to predict right now. So we'll just have to let that go. But don't forget,
okay,
as we have a election for president, we also elect our legislature. So
okay.
the House of Representatives,
yes.
all 435.
Congress.
And then in the upper chamber, the Senate, one-third of the Senate.
Yes.
Plus many governors,
wow.
many state houses.
It's going to be big change.
Thousands and thousands of people are running for office and will be elected at every local, city level, state level, federal level.
Okay.
So Europe.
Let me ask you only this about the election in the States. The American people are influenced by the international foreign affairs, what happened in the world. Are they decided by these terms, or they're pretty focused on the domestic issues?
There's a saying here, the election is always about your pocketbook, your wallet.
Yeah.
It's always about money.
Yes.
And that's generally the way it works.
Okay.
Now, in today's world where we're so connected globally, where you have instant news 24/7, where ISIS can attack you in San Bernardino, California, or Paris, that will have an impact.
And last question about states. What is the most influential networks? Which television stations are the most influential? How the CNN stands in the States?
CNN has decent ratings, I think, but Fox is consistently rated very high.
He's pretty conservative and Republican-oriented, Fox.
I would say it's conservative. I wouldn't put a party label on it. It's conservative. And then CNN, but then you have the broadcast networks, the traditional NBC, ABC, CBS. But it's really dominated by I think Fox and CNN.
Okay. And your opinion about migrant crisis? What made this crisis to escalate on such a level? What pushed their people out of their countries and go to Europe? And what will happen with Europe?
I think it's two things. Number one, you have the migrants, that have been in camps that have fled the war in Syria, and they've been in camps in Jordan, in Turkey, in Lebanon, and they've been there for years. And look, you have to have compassion for these people. It's human misery going on there. You have to have compassion for them. But then you also have on the other side, you have Mutti Merkel, Chancellor Merkel, who says, "Come over," And so in our world where we're all connected 24/7. And these migrants have cell phones and tablets and other devices, word travels immediately. And when Angela Merkel says come to Germany, they come. They listen to her. And so but you can't. But Europe didn't have a unified policy for dealing with this, and it still doesn't have a unified policy for dealing with this. And there's the issue of people fleeing war and economic migrants. And we're seeing more and more economic migrants come into Europe. And I'm sorry, just because you're poor and you don't have a job in your country doesn't give you license to come into Europe. You can't allow that to happen.
Do you think that
And
Europe
so-
will prevail? Or European Union? Do you think
Yeah.
it will crash and it will be burned something else?
It won't. And it won't just be the migrant crisis. It'll be, the economic crisis, Greece, the migrants, and other issues. But Europe in its current form, European Union in its current form, probably won't continue to exist.
I have a
It will
question
change.
from a viewer. I was surprised. I didn't ask for a question, but is it okay to ask you?
Sure.
Please ask Jason, do the foreign politics of Donald Trump is better for Macedonia than the Hillary Clinton? Все пак жена му е Словенка и он е доста проевропски. Може би Берни Сандерс. Јанко, ако сакаш, можеш да го прашаш Джейсон дали надворешната политика на Доналд Трамп за Македонија е најдобар избор, знаејќи колку Хилари Клинтон е најлошиот. Сепак жена му, his wife, his Slovenian ascendant of Donald Trump, and that
Ivanka.
he is pro-European, or maybe Bernie Sanders.
Best
Choice?
candidate for Macedonia.
Yes.
Wow. I don't know if Donald Trump knows where Macedonia is. His wife, being Ivanka, of course, but I'm not sure if he's given much thought to Macedonia, to be honest. When he doesn't understand the nuclear triad, he probably doesn't understand much about Macedonia.
You're killing me. You're pretty right.
So,
Yes.
And same with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is dealing almost exclusively with economic issues. As a socialist. So, who's best for Macedonia? That's a very good question. I still would think overall, of course, that a Republican would be best for not just for Macedonia, but first and foremost for the United States. And somebody like a Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio or Chris Christie, John Kasich, Carly Fiorina, those. Because they're going to take a rational and principled look at what's going on in Europe, in southeastern Europe, and in Macedonia, and they're going to appoint to the State Department good people that have a understanding of history. And I think this is one of the things where American politicians fail when it comes to foreign policy, is that they know very little about history. And if you don't know history, you're going to repeat it. Those, the old saying, those who don't understand history are doomed to repeat it. Something like that.
Yes.
And that's
I never
that's where
like Sting when he sang "History will teach us nothing." Very wrong.
Yeah.
So
history will teach us everything.
yes, of course. Going forward with the face turning back.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Many analysts say that American society is in a bigger crisis than ever. That the racial things, criminal, and collision between people and the police and the illegal immigrants are the highest level ever. And thankfully, because of the politic of Barack Obama.
All true. And this is the consequence of a left-leaning worldview, whether it's on social affairs or economic affairs or foreign affairs. And that's why the United States is in such a sad position today, internally and externally. It is because this leftist worldview, this belief in radical change for the sake of radical change, as conservatives, we believe in slow, incremental change over decades, over hundreds of years. change is necessary, but radical change is very, very bad for a society and for a civilization.
Do you think that it is a time for a unilateral world to be changed in a polylateral, to America to accept that is not the world police anymore, that is not world power anymore. They should close some of the bases in the world, and to let China, Russia, India to their positive way to get their influences in the world, not to make conflicts, but through understanding and to communication and trade agreements, not because United States are qualified as now from many analysis that they're greatest generator of crisis in the world because of the politics of Barack Obama.
Yeah, well, not just Barack Obama, but George Bush deserves some blame for the
Yes,
Iraq War.
yes,
Right.
after
That was-
2001. Yes.
Yeah, I'm on the record as being against going to war in Iraq to begin with. That was a mistake.
Big
But,
mistake.
Yeah, but I think, world policemen, for instance, that's an interesting. We don't want to be. I don't want us to be the world policeman.
Do
but-
people of America want to? Do they understand how our perception of United States that is more and more negative in the world?
Yeah. Now, I don't think Americans understand that. They don't know that there's anything outside of our borders. Unfortunately, too many. It's true. But we don't aspire to.
I
we don't
try to
want
be polite, not to offend you as American
No,
also.
no, that's fine. So we don't want to be, but as a de facto, as a practical matter, unfortunately, countries come to us when there's a problem, and that's just, I think, a historical precedent because of our influence around the world. I think when we talk about, and here's an interesting point. I think power abhors, hates a vacuum. So there's always going to be.
Repeat, please.
You got it? Power hates a vacuum.
Okay.
Okay. There cannot be a vacuum in global affairs. Somebody's going to be at the top, whether it's one or two or three nations or four. So the United States just can't close ourselves off from the rest of the world and no longer be involved. That's not an option. It's by virtue of our economic strength and our military strength, which we don't always use correctly. Many times we do. But by virtue of our size, we are still going to be, up there at the top. But you see other countries, China, for instance, economically will overtake the United States within 20 years. But of course, it has a much larger population. So you look at all of these different factors, and you gotta, but again, I go back to this idea of understanding history, and to be wise about the future, you have to understand the past. And I don't think we have enough leaders here that understand the past. And that's something I would really hope for American leaders, that they would understand that, so that they know how to wisely use American power, not recklessly use American power. Because we have power, we're going to use it. But let's be wise about it. Let's be smart about it.
Thank you very much for your effort for Macedonia. And I hope so that our viewers will understand you, and they will raise a hope. There is many friends of Macedonia in the United States who will understand our problem, and we need support from everybody. And thank you very much for that.
Janko, thank you for having me on the show. I hope that I was able to communicate properly to your viewers and they understood it. And just so you know, just so Macedonia knows, I love Macedonia. Macedonia is my second home, and always will be a part of me. And I look forward to my next visit with you in person.
Yes, it will be in Aurora with new winery. Yes, it will be new winery in Aurora. Yes, Zegen Winery.
Fantastic.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I'm full informed and I'm doing PR for both of them. So it will be very nice. It was a quite Bucharest agreement in the new year there. There was a Bulgarian, Serbian, Greeks and Macedonian celebrating New Year. Aurora is the symbol of new hopes on Balkan for Macedonia.
Fantastic.
See you
I'll
there, definitely in an infinite pool.
Very good. All right.
Okay,
Janko, thank you.
best
Say goodbye.
wishes.
Okay.
Почитувани гледачи, уште еднаш се извинувам затоа што ова интервју беше едноставно невозможно поинаку да се направи, ниту да се сними, но ќе има, се надевам, Рики од режија дека со моите соработници ќе го иститлуваат и преведат ова, па ќе се емитува. Но ако некој се нафати од вас која поддржувате Македонија на YouTube, ја ќе ви бидам благодарен. Па сум спремен дури и да ги платам трошоците за превод. Окей, како и да е, ви благодарам за вашето внимание. Ви посакувам лека ноќ. Утре ќе имаме стандардна емисија со тоа што во среда го очекувам градоначалникот на општина Карпош Стефче Јакимовски. Лека ноќ и пријатно.